All right, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to the BK Nothing But Nets podcast. I am your host today, Dylan, also known as Nets Press, joined to me by the man, the myth, the legend, Gary. What's going on, brother?
We got a full two round mock draft. I'm excited for this. We got obviously 5 picks. Are we doing trades or no trades?
We're gonna do first round trades. I'm gonna keep second round trades minimal, unless if there's a team that has like 2 or 3 seconds and clearly can't use all of them. Like Washington, I
Yeah.
think, is a team. Utah. Um, so we'll figure out something with a couple of the second round moves up, but nothing too crazy in the second round. We'll definitely keep it to first round. We'll do like 4 or 5 trades in the first, and then we'll see what we do moving forward.
All right. Sounds good. It's good. It's 59 picks, I guess, technically, right? Because the Knicks
Yeah,
cheated. Yeah,
the Knicks have a forfeited pick because of the whole father
they
Brunson,
had
Jalen
to.
Brunson. Yeah. But
Which I
yeah,
still
we weren't
believe that the Knicks are funneling money to Jalen Brunson through his dad. I still truly believe that. No one takes that
probably.
kind of pay cut. Yeah.
Probably. Um yeah, I mean we were originally going to stay away from the 2 round mocks for a little bit, but Fanspo finally updated some of the players. They got the 2 Florida guys, Thomas Haw and Alex Condon. They added RJ Lewis, Chaz Lanier, Micah Peavy. So they've got second round guys finally in there that are going to be eligible. For those who are big Yaxo Lendeborg guys, he is not on my big board anymore. It seems that he's fully committed to Michigan, so we're going to stay away from him. Um, he is off the radar until further notice. But yeah, we've got some updated players and second round prospects that'll help us fill this out. So I think we have a total of 60 players on the dot. Um, there's only 59 picks, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, let's do our first lottery simulation of the day. We're only doing one. We'll keep it as realistic as possible every single time. We may have to actually, you know what? We may have to do this manually because I have the updated first round, but
Yeah.
when you do a draft lottery simulation, it goes to the website's last update, which has Brooklyn at 20 and Brooklyn's at 19. So if you want real quickly, what you can do is click full draft rather than first
Uh,
round.
where full draft. Okay.
All right. And then what we're going to do is if you scroll down, you're going to see updated first round.
Yeah.
We're going to click that, and then you're going to click on my big board. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a lottery simulation on my end, and that's how we'll update picks 1 through 14. So we'll just have to do it manually. I will show the screen, me doing it. So here, one simulation. It's a little
You can hit
blurry.
uh
Yeah, if you
create
click on start draft,
wait. Start draft. Why am I retarded again? Where does it say start draft?
right there in blue, underneath
Is
the
it
comment.
verified draft order?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so our lottery simulation, oh my God. We are going to have the Washington Wizards at 1. So if you click on where it says Hornets, we're going to go
Yeah.
Washington.
All right.
Um, at number 2, unfortunately, Philly gets it. This is how you know I'm being real.
Did
Um,
you just do a simulation? Is that what you just did?
yeah, I have the simulation here. I did
All
1.
right.
Um, at number 3 is going to be Toronto. You're going to keep the Pelicans at 4.
All right. Pelicans at 4.
I know that was hard to not press the Nets, right?
Yeah.
At number 5 is Utah. I'm not sure if they're already there. If
No.
you scroll down or click off of that and just can you here? Let me remove the comments this way I can see a bit more. All right, Utah's at 5, so that's good. We're gonna have Charlotte at 6.
God dang it! Where are we picking?
We're at 7.
All right. That's not. This is not what I anticipated when we went into this year. But all right, let's
No,
go.
not at all.
Seven is.
Yeah. So Brooklyn's at 7, where the Thunder are.
Uh.
So yeah,
Okay.
click on. Yeah, there you go.
Um.
We're at
Where the hell are the
13,
Brooklyn Nets?
12 or 13.
Okay.
Yeah, 12.
There we
There we
go.
go. If you scroll down at number 8 is San Antonio.
All right.
That's good. At 9 is Houston. That's good. Portland at
All
10.
right.
That's good. Dallas at 11. That's good. Chicago at 12. That's good. Atlanta at 13. That's good. And scroll down just a little bit more. Is that San Antonio at 14? Boom. All right. So
14.
if you
Yeah.
scroll all the way up, I think starts up there. If not, it's click on update in the green
Did we
box.
change 19 and 20? Did we?
Yeah,
we did.
those
Okay.
are all set. I updated those manually myself. So that's
All right.
good. So yeah, if you click the green where it says update,
Sometimes you gotta do it manually yourself. You know.
yep. And then if you scroll all the way to the bottom, it should say start draft. But yeah, for those of you who are questioning, I did one mock draft simulator here so you can see it. But yeah, to have the outside of the lottery
All right,
first
so
round picks fully updated, you have to do it that way. So yeah,
we got 7. We were picking 7, right? Okay.
yes. So yeah, did you scroll all the way to the bottom? Is there something that says start draft? Yep, start draft. There we go. All right, let's do this. So first overall pick, the Washington Wizards win the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. There's really not much you need to say. We keep saying this every episode. He is officially declared for the NBA draft. There was a lot of questions whether or not he was actually going to stay at Duke. I think anybody with basketball knowledge knew that was never happening. So yeah, he's going number 1 to Washington. At number 2, you would absolutely hate to see this, but Philly ends up landing Dylan Harper. That is tough to see. I mean, you don't want to see that as a Nets fan. You don't want to see that as an NBA fan, but that's just how the lottery worked today.
I just want to put this out there. I think there's no way Washington drafts 1, and I don't think Philly drafts 2 because Washington is a joke of a franchise. They are the Jets of the NBA, and I think the NBA is going to punish Philly and Utah for the tanking in the fashion that they did. So I don't think Philly's drafting. I think that pick's going to go 7 to OKC, and I think Utah is going to draft like 5 because the NBA is pissed at what they did. That's just my kind of my inkling is
interesting
that the NBA is not happy with the tanking.
Yeah, I mean, we'll
the
see.
Blatant tanking.
Hopefully,
yeah, the blatant, like in your face tanking.
Yeah. Well, Toronto at 3 is interesting, and again, this is one of those 3-4 teams that I say if they land at 3, you go in this direction. We're gonna have VJ Edgecombe go here at number 3. If you're looking at the current construction of Toronto, they're really just a piece away from being a high caliber play-in, if not potential playoff team when fully healthy. You would have to think they're moving on from RJ Barrett to, acquire some really good depth, potentially another center. You would be building a roster around Emmanuel Quickly, Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, VJ Edgecombe, Jakob Poeltl. So that's a really nice starting 5 to potentially move into next year, and something that could definitely be of interest moving forward for them.
Now the Pelicans at 4, I guess they have to take Bailey, right?
Yeah, when you're in this position, you kind of have to go best available, unless New Orleans only has 1 pick. They're looking to move Zion. Who are some of the players that or some of the teams that are coming up next in the draft? Maybe do you see a potential trade up here?
How do I?
If you click on trade pick in that orange highlight right there, we're not going to definitely do it, but is there a world where New Orleans looks to grab more picks? Maybe. I don't see Charlotte doing it because, again, I just don't see him as a fit. But is this where you could potentially see Brooklyn move up?
Yeah, that was my question. I mean, I know Ace Bailey doesn't exactly fit in with the Pelicans, but he's still a unique talent. He's 6'10", He can create his own shot. He can handle the ball. Do you trade him? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it really comes down to, does Brooklyn want to give up the assets to move up this far? Because a 3-spot, 4-spot jump is pretty pricey, especially when one of the players is a top 3 projected pick.
Even if I gave you 7,
you'd have to give up probably
14,
7
and 19.
Yeah, it would probably have to be 7, 26 and like a future pick.
I'm not giving you next year's pick to go from 7.
No, definitely not next year.
I just don't think there's they don't want Cam Thomas. Like, they don't really need Cam Johnson.
Yeah.
I don't. Claxton 7 and 19. Without 7, 19, and Claxton to go to 4, would that work?
Financially, probably not. They'd have to give up somebody in return, and they don't really have contracts.
Yeah.
All they have is CJ McCollum on an expiring $33 million deal, and outside of that, they have Trey Murphy and Herb Jones making like 12 to 15 each, and they're not going to give up either of them.
they wouldn't give up CJ? Wouldn't they want to give up CJ? Wouldn't they
They'd want to
top
give up
that?
CJ, but do I think Brooklyn would do that? No.
Well, hang on. So if I said to you, Claxton 7 and 19 for CJ's contract and 4, they say no.
I think if you're giving up Claxton, you honestly don't have to give up 19. I think it would just be 7 in Claxton for 4 in McCollum, but I think they're going to try and get value and depth for McCollum. So I don't see them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a market out there? Like, do you think a good team would want McCollum? Or do you think he's just a salary dump? Like, would a competitive team want McCollum? Like Orlando, would they want CJ?
Potentially. I think they're looking more along the lines of like Trae Young and Ja Morant.
Yeah.
I think they're looking at that point guard spot primarily. But yeah, I mean, we can always have them stay realistically. They'd be working with Trey Murphy, Ace, and Herb Jones as their wings, with Zion definitely being traded at that point for a big. So yeah, let's have them stick and pick. We'll have them go Ace at 4. If you click cancel there on the bottom right, yeah, we'll have them stick and stay at 4. Do I agree with having Ace going to New Orleans? No. But, you know, if you trade Zion, does it work out? I'd say yes. So we got him going 4 to New Orleans. At 5 is Utah. And this is definitely, again, if they land 5, that's just a horrible scenario for them. But you have to go with the best player available in terms of upside. And I think that's Trey Johnson. I think just the
Mr.
scoring
Empty
ability.
Stats.
Yeah, he's got the scoring ability that, like, Isaiah Collier doesn't have a scoring upside. Keontae George is a very limited scorer. Larry Markkinen, a nice piece that could do a little bit of everything. But I think you just need that primary scorer in Utah. And if you miss out on the top 4, then you should definitely be looking at the best scorer available, and that to me is Trey Johnson.
I get the appeal in Trey Johnson, and he's from not far away from me, about 20 minutes away, 30 minutes away. He is a Longhorn. I hope he has a great career. I just hope it's not for the Brooklyn Nets. That's like all I'm going to say about Trey Johnson.
I know, me too.
Probably going to be 24 points a game.
Between the ranges that we could be selecting, 1 through 9, he would be the guy that I'm actually angry about drafting. I want no part of Trey Johnson. I think that he is by far the worst fit for this team. And
they're going to get him. He's going to drop 24 points a game. And everyone's going to look how good he is. Like, he's not that good. He just scored some baskets. Like, that's all he did.
He's just not what we need. Like if you're looking at the top 9, right? You've got Flag, Harper, Ace. You got VJ. You've got Malawak, Fears, Queen, Con Kneppel. Like, out of those 8, I would take all 8 of those guys over Trey Johnson. I would.
I agree.
At number 6 is Charlotte, and again, kind of in a rough spot. I don't hate Con Kneppel here, but I do think that they need to be smart and draft Mark Williams' replacement. So I'm going to have them go Malawak.
Malawak.
Like, realistically, Kneppel is honestly one of the most perfect fits alongside LaMelo. But at the same time, do they revisit trying to get Dalton Knecht for a package that doesn't consist of Mark Williams? Maybe. So who knows with that? But I think that they need to find another big, because when Mark Williams is hurt, they have no big, and it's very rough over there. I mean, I think they have Yusuf Nurkic right now, and he's not good. So I would have them go in that direction there. Now, this is where it gets interesting for Brooklyn, because everybody clearly wants Jeremiah Fears. But do we switch it up and do we change things up by going Con Kneppel? Now, the only reason I even mention it is because we know who Sean Marks is. The guy is who he is. I'll just put it that way.
There's been rumors. Dislike Con Kneppel.
Yeah.
But if Jeremiah Fears is there and he passes out, I'm going to strangle him. I'm going to kill him.
I agree. I mean, I would not want to see Brooklyn pass up on Jeremiah Fears, especially if you fall all the way to 7. Like, to me, Fears is the clear and obvious choice. And I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to try and speak it into existence as much as possible. One of Flag, Harper, or Fears are the main 3 that I want. I mean, you could see by the way that he plays, the 3-point percentage wasn't great, but he's a guy that is at least willing to take the shots and will improve as an efficient scorer in the NBA at some point. I mean, that's just something that you don't see very often from a 6'4" guard. Like, you don't see guys taking one-legged
I'm going to play the highlights.
threes. Yeah, I'll break them down for you.
You tell us why this is the best pick, and I'm going to take a leak real quick.
Will do. But I mean, yeah, we were able to watch him all throughout the season. I really didn't catch wind of him until about halfway through the college basketball season, and that was kind of after he had put Oklahoma on his back, starting, I believe, what was it, like 11-0, 11-1. They were one of the best teams in college basketball for the first, 1/3 of the season. And his all-around offensive ability is something that I think is something that Brooklyn really needs. You have Cam Thomas who can score, but he really can't play make. And Fears has shown upside as a playmaker. The assist numbers per game don't look like it, but if you look at the passes that he's making and finding the open players and creating shots for other players with his shot creation, I think the assist numbers are going to go very, very high up once he gets into the NBA. I mean, this is a guy that I could see being 23, 24 point per game guy with, 5.5, 6.5 assists per game. If you look at him play, it kind of reminds me, and I've been saying it for a while, of a mixture between Trae Young and Ja Morant, right? He doesn't have the 3-point spacing and range that Trae Young has. He kind of has more of a similar efficiency style to a 3-ball like Ja Morant, but he doesn't have the athleticism and finishing above the rim that Ja has. But he also has a good touch and feel around the rim like Trae Young has. So that's why I kind of say it's a mixture of both. He's got qualities from both, maybe not the best qualities from both, but definitely something along the lines of that. I see somebody already saying Russell Westbrook kind of. I can see it just a little bit lesser athletic. But again, just a player that can give you, at his peak of his career, hopefully 23 to 24 points a game along with like 5-6 assists a game. And I think that's exactly what Brooklyn needs.
My comp, and net fans will appreciate this, is Stephon Marbury. And I have the Marbury jersey on today. I think Marbury is the comp.
Yeah, I'm still a bit too young for that.
Yeah, it's a little before your time, but yeah.
Just a little.
All right.
Let's see. Yeah, the share screen went away.
All right. Let me draft Fears. All right.
All right, and at 8, we're going to go with my guy Dusty's pick here. Falls right into their lap. Con Kneppel. This is somebody that we spoke with Dusty Garza, a.k.a. the Spurs reporter, about. Con Kneppel is a player that they are incredibly high on. Somebody that they may even look to potentially trade up for. Let's just say OKC lands at 7 and San Antonio's at 8. If Charlotte misses out on Ace, VJ, and anybody in the top 3, I think Charlotte could be a trade-up partner with San Antonio to bump up 1 or 2 spots ahead of OKC. I could definitely see that being a potential reality. So I think Con Kneppel here is a perfect fit. A guy that can play the 2, he can play the 3. He's got that Klay Thompson-like ability where he can space the floor, defend very well. He's 6'7". He can put the ball on the floor. It's nothing flashy. It's nothing special, but he gets the job done. And a very efficient scorer as well. A guy that could probably come in at his peak of his career, give you like 17 to 19 a game. Great 3-point percentage, very solid defense. Again, it just reminds me to a T of Klay Thompson. So I think that's a perfect fit for them. And this is what? Houston at 9?
Houston at 9. This is an interesting pick. Fred VanVleet is a free agent, correct?
He is. I believe he's either a free agent or they have a team option on him where they can decline it and free up like the 30-40 million that he's owed. I believe he's heading into free agency, though, because I think they accepted his team option last year.
All right. So, I mean, a competitive. This is what we did. We traded all these picks to move up 2 spots.
Yep.
If we get Fears, I'm okay with it. If we get Fears, and if this was the way it would have turned out, and we got Fears, I'm okay with that because I think Fears is that much of an impact player.
Yeah, so no, I agree. I agree. Like I said, the only 3 picks that I'm going to be ecstatic about is Flag, Harper, or Fears. And I leave Ace off of that list because I just don't know how I see him fitting with a guy like Cam Thomas long term. And I also don't know if he's ever going to reach his peak. This is also a guy who has a very low floor but a very high ceiling. So to me, am I happy with an Ace pick? Yes. Am I ecstatic? No. But yeah, let's go Kasparas Giacochonis here at 9 to Houston. Let's find that point guard replacement for Fred VanVleet. I think they're getting Kevin Durant, so I think you need to find the replacement for Reed Sheppard as well. I think Reed Sheppard would be included in a Kevin Durant deal. So to me, go with a young 6'6" point guard that can do a little bit of everything. He averaged around 15, 5, and 5 in college this season. And like I've said previously over the past month since the tournament, the assist to turnover ratio come conference play in March Madness was a bit of a worry for me, which is why I have him slipping to 9. But I definitely think in an Ime Udoka system with the players that he has around him, potentially Kevin Durant, Sengun, Amen Thompson, I think that's going to be much easier style of basketball for him. So I like him at 9. I think that's a really good fit and range for him.
All right. Number 10 is an interesting one. Portland, a team that I like a lot, a team on the come up. They got Scoot Henderson. Anthony's probably gone, you would think. Where do they go from here? And what do you see Portland
we're
doing?
going to have a trade here real quickly. We're going to do a 2-spot move back for Portland. And the reason why I say that is because there's a guy on the board who shouldn't be on here, and I think Dallas would take him next. So we're going to do a little bit of a switch up. We're going to have Chicago move up 2 spots. Did Chicago not get their pick?
Yeah, no, Chicago. Well, why would Chicago?
Oh, no, they are at 12, but for some reason it's not showing up for them. That's weird. Very strange.
Why?
So here, ready? Click back, and then click cancel, and we're going to undo the last pick. Sometimes it doesn't give you the second pick for some reason. So go back to Houston if you scroll to the top. Yeah, it's a glitch where sometimes the second pick doesn't show up. So yeah, if you click undo previous pick on the top left,
previous pick, yeah,
and then click on trade pick,
we'll
just do the trade previously. So yeah, click on trade partner. Oh, but it only works with Houston. Son of a bitch. Watch, Chicago will pop up now. Yep,
yeah,
there they are. That sucks.
How gay is that? Like what? All right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. All right, so yeah, go Yakatronis here at 9. We'll go Colin Murray Boyles at 10.
Hang on, let me. We went with Kasparis, right? That's who we picked here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go Colin Murray Boyles at 10 to Portland. It's the guy who I was going to have them select anyway.
See if the glitch has fixed itself. Let's see. No, the glitch is still
it's
there.
always 2 picks. I don't know why.
All right, Colin Murray Boyles.
Actually, you know what? I think Murray Boyles is the perfect fit for them. But is there a world they look to move off of DeAndre Ayton and then go for Derek Queen as the backup big behind Donovan Clingan? Like, is it a possibility? Yes. I'm going to stick with my gut. I think Colin Murray Boyles is a great fit for Portland. I'm not even going to overthink it. Let's stick with Murray Boyles there. For Dallas, like, do I think they would take Derek Queen just because of the upside that he has? Yes, but also their window of winning is very, very slim. And with Kyrie potentially out for the first half of the season next year with a torn ACL, do they go point guard? Right?
See, to me, Dallas needs to trade this. They're in salary cap hell too. Yeah. Like, to me, like their window of winning is 1 year, maybe 2. Like, they can't try to develop Derek Queen. Like, they need to get a player immediately. You know what I'm saying? If I was Dallas, I would look to trade this pick.
Let's check out the trade partners. I mean, let's see what they got here. We'll look at some of the upcoming picks. I don't think OKC moves up. I actually think they move back from 15. Atlanta. I could see Atlanta.
Would they be interested in Cam Johnson?
I don't know if financially it works, like depending on what they have going for them in terms of like salary fillers. It'll depend.
Let me
do I think they move on from PJ Washington? No. Do I think they move on from Daniel Gafford? I don't think they should. But
no.
Let's see if they have any
bad contracts.
I mean, is it crazy to say, does Minnesota move 6 spots up? They have an early second round pick and they have pick 17. I mean, is it out of the realm for them to go that far up?
For Minnesota, you said?
Yeah, because they have the first pick in the second round.
So if we did that 17 and 31 for 11?
Yeah, I don't hate that. I mean, would they have to throw in a future seconds? Probably. But do I hate that deal at all? No, I actually don't hate that whatsoever. I mean, you're talking about getting 2 picks in the top 30, pretty much. That's practically 2 first-round picks. Do I hate that? No. Yeah, I'll go with this because I think Derek Queen could be a Naz Reid replacement. Do I see him as a long-term
Yeah.
4? No, but does he play a similar role? Yes. So yeah, we're gonna go Derek Queen here to Minnesota. I don't hate
Minnesota.
that. All right, and Chicago is up now. They lose out on Derek Queen. I'm gonna have them go Igor Demon. I think if you are
Yeah.
going to let go of Josh Giddey in restricted free agency, this is the perfect replacement. I mean, he's
I was just
2
gonna
inches
say,
taller.
yeah.
He fits the description. He does everything the same as Giddey. I think the upside on Igor is very high, so I don't hate that pick there for them. Who is at 13? Is this Atlanta?
It's Atlanta at 13. If Trey
Yeah,
Young is gone,
you got to go
can
Jace
Jace
Richardson.
can he play the point, or is he an undersized too?
I think he can do a little bit of both. I would consider him more of a combo guard. But yeah, I could definitely see Jace Richardson going here at 13. There's a lot of people saying he could go potentially top 10. Do I see it? I say it every episode. No. But yeah, I like the fit there for him, especially if they can move on from Trey Young and get some solid depth pieces and picks. Do I think they should go after, like a Jalen Suggs? No. Anthony Black, yes. I think the package that ends up landing Trey Young in Orlando is KCP, Anthony Black, and 2 first-round picks with a third first-round pick that's protected. I can see that kind of being your deal moving forward, because I think they're going to want to prioritize picks, especially now that they don't have their own. So I definitely think that would be a solid package for them. And this is the Spurs again, right?
Noel is a guy I like a lot. The Hawks. I think, assuming they trade Trey Young, and to me, the reason I think Landry Fields got fired is because he didn't want to trade Trey Young. So I think Trey Young is definitely gone. If they trade Trey, then you would take Jace over Aston Noel. If they're keeping Trey Young, which I don't, but let's just live in that hypothetical. Is Aston Noel or Carter Bryant the pick?
For Atlanta?
Yeah, if they kept Trey Young.
If they keep Trey Young, I would actually say they trade up, because they have 13 and 22.
Okay.
So to me, if I'm them, I trade up, because I don't think Carter Bryant makes a ton of sense. They have Richeche, they have Jalen Johnson. I don't think Aston Noel makes sense. They have Jalen Johnson. They have Onyeka Okongwu. If I had to pick between one of the two, it would be Newell, just because I think that you can play him off the bench and still have some upside. But yeah, to me, Carter Bryant really doesn't make sense for them there.
All right. Who is up next? Who do we
This
have
is San Antonio now at 14. And this is where we're going to do a trade. We're going to have Brooklyn move up. They got Jeremiah Fears. Let's see. I'm gonna stick with the same package that I think is realistic. I'm gonna go 14 for 27 and Cam Johnson. Whether the Nets get Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson, whoever it may be, that's for you guys to determine. I still think that this is the most realistic trade partner with Brooklyn come draft night. And if Sean Marks is serious about putting them in a position next year to really land a top 3 pick while also being, exciting, fun to watch, youthful, I think this is the way to do it. So with Brooklyn up at number 14, I think you go ahead and grab your guy, which is it's tough, man. Like I would take.
We're trading up. So do we take the best player available, or do we take the center?
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. I also do think there's a world where Sorber is there at 19. But you also have to remember, too, we have Nick Claxton as of right now. We don't know if he gets traded. We have Day'Ron Sharpe, who's a restricted free agent, who we can bring back worst case scenario. Do they need to go center? No. Do we want them to go center? Yes. But yeah,
they're taking Aston. If this was real life, they're taking Aston Noel there. 6'11".
I don't think. I think with the way that Carter Bryant's risen up draft boards, I really think it would be Bryant here. I think the upside on him is tremendously high.
Would take Bryant over Noel?
Yeah. Noel's over 6'10".
That's true. That's true.
You got to fit the description. But yeah, I'm going to go Carter Bryant here, man. I think it's a bit high for him? Yes. But the board and many people are saying that he is rising up these draft boards left and right. I don't hate it. The stats don't show any form of love to what he could potentially be at 6'8", 225. He can space the floor. He's a high caliber defender. one of the best defenders in this draft, and he's only 18, 19 years old. So the upside on him is tremendous. I would not hate that whatsoever.
I like this pick a lot. I was thankful that you didn't say Nolan Torre. I do not want Nolan Torre on this team. So I'm glad we didn't go that route. So, all right. So far, we got Fears and Carter Bryant in a trade up for Bryant. I'm happy so far. What are your thoughts so far? We still got 2 picks up in the first round.
Yeah, I definitely don't hate it whatsoever. It'll be interesting to see if this guy can fall all the way to here. I mean, listen, I'm trying to get the Nets Sorber at any way possible, but if I feel there's a team that's going to take him, I'm going to have them take him. If you can land Bryant, Fears, and Sorber, I think that's a home run. I think that's more than a home run. That's a walk-off. But it would be very good to see those 3 guys in Brooklyn somehow next year. But with OKC up at 15, again, it's just such a weird position for them. Like, I don't like how they have 3 first-round picks. They don't need 3 first-round picks. So we're going to have a trade here.
Because that's 3 guaranteed roster spots. That's a lot of money. Like, they don't even want 3 first-round picks. You know? Like, yeah.
I'm going to have them do a trade here. I don't think they keep all the picks that they have this year, and I think 15 nets them the most value. So let's go to trade partner. Who did we give Washington at 1? Or who did they get number 1? Who did they get?
Yeah, Washington got 1.
They did. Okay, so they got Flag.
You want to trade with them?
Yeah, I think I do.
Yeah, I think we're trading up again.
Yeah, because I could see Dallas potentially taking Nolan Traore. No, not Brooklyn. We'll go Washington. Yeah, I'm gonna have Washington go Nolan Traore here. Give him 15 for 8. No, but see, that's the problem. Like, why move 3 spots down? I think they would completely get rid of the pick. And I also don't think Washington would be willing to give up 1 or 2 future firsts to be able to keep 18 and move up to 15.
If they trade, I would imagine it's going to be for a player. So who would have a player that they would want?
Yeah, let's check the teams again. I mean, Cam Johnson's gone. They're not going Nick Claxton. Dallas doesn't really have much to move. Who are the other teams on this list? San Antonio's here. Indiana's here. I don't see Indiana moving anybody unless if it's for a star. I mean, do you see an aggressive move up here from Charlotte? Charlotte's got 33 and 34. Yeah, I mean, they got... Who did we give them in this one? Kaman Malawak?
Malawak is still available. Isn't he?
No. We had him go top 8. I think we had him go to Charlotte. If you click out of the...
Hang on. How do I get... Okay, cancel. Hang on.
Yeah, Malawak went 6.
Oh, I'm 6. Okay.
Let's see. Who's on the board right now? Because if Charlotte was to make a move up, you would have to think it would be a shooting guard. I mean, Asunuel would be a great fit for them, too. If they go bigger. Sengu's still on the board.
Doesn't he fill a lot of the same space not for OKC? He's saying for Washington?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? We're overthinking this way too much. Philly got their pick. We'll just have OKC trade 24. Yeah, go. We're going to have OKC select here. Who's on the board right now?
Asunuel, Traore, Asangwe, Sorber.
Let's have him go. I'm going to have him go Ben Seraph. I think this is a solid fit for them, a combo guard. I do think that at some point they need to make a move for a 3rd star, 4th star potentially even, depending on how you want to put it. So I think Seraph could be a really solid piece for them moving forward. All right, who is this? Orlando?
Orlando at 16.
Yeah, go Asunuel. You can't fall any further than this, right? At 6'11", could space the floor a bit, solid rebounder, efficient. I like this a lot for them. Yeah, go Asunuel. It's crazy to think how many guys there are in the top 20 that are, borderline lottery picks. Like Liam McNeely, Sorber, Sengu, Traore. These are all guys who were at one point in time projected lottery, if not could still be lottery. Like there's really a lot of options and interchangeable pieces moving forward with how the teams could be selecting between 12 through 20. But this is Dallas at, what is it, 17?
Yeah.
I almost feel like you have to go Traore. Like, does he fall any further than this? I don't think so. But at the same time, you have Kyrie, you got Jaden Hardy, you have Dinwiddie, who you can probably bring back on a minimum. Do they go with somebody else? Do they go with Liam McNeely? Do they go with Noah Sangbu? I don't think they go Sorber, especially if they passed up on Derek Queen and traded back. There's it's tough because honestly, I could see Washington with the next pick going Traore.
I'm not a Traore fan. It's not my team. You're right. He's going to go at some point. He's not going to keep dropping. So you want to send him here?
I almost want to give them a Sangbu or McNeely.
Okay. I think that's a better pick for. That's what I was thinking.
Give him McNeely. I think McNeely goes higher than a Sangbu, honestly. Let's go McNeely here.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah. You got Klay Thompson over there. You could mold Liam McNeely into a Klay Thompson-like player. He's one of the better three-point shooters in the draft this year. I like the fit for them. And then, go Nolan Traore here at 18 to Washington. I mean, if that's Washington's draft, that's incredible.
Yeah, happy with what you have right now, for sure.
By far, yeah. Brooklyn up at 19. Yeah, and I mean, listen, I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible, but give him Thomas Sorber. It makes so much sense. Washington could have taken him before. If Nolan Traore was gone, I would have had them gone Sorber, which is kind of why I was debating going Traore at 17. But again, if you're looking at what teams specifically need, I think an Asengu or a McNeely is more valuable to Dallas than a Nolan Traore. And if you're looking at Washington, who's more valuable next to a Cooper Flag and Alex Sarr? Is it a Sorber or is it Nolan Traore? And to me, I think it's Traore. So Brooklyn gets the three guys I was hoping for. Miami at 20, I'm going to have them go Noah Sangbu. He can't fall any further than this either. This is a perfect team for him. 6'8", 6'9", floor spacer, can defend, lengthy, athletic. This is a guy who could potentially go as high as 14, maybe even 13. But we'll have him fall here. I think this is a really good fit for them.
Utah took Trey Johnson at 5. They're back on the clock with 20.
Yeah, and they're in a really rough spot because they missed out, on the top four guys. They ended up having to go Trey Johnson. They missed out on Nolan Traore and Ben Seraph, who is usually two guards. I mock to them very frequently. But let's go Danny Wolf here. I don't think he can fall any further. And I really think if you are looking to give yourself a cushion on whether or not Walker Kessler is a piece of the future or not, I think that's the best way possible. And this is where, again, I'm going to have Brooklyn move up. I do this very frequently, but I think Atlanta is a trade partner, especially if Danny Wolf is off the board. I'm going to have Brooklyn move up. What we're going to do is multiple second. Again, we don't even have to type this out, but the Nets are going to give up 26 and 36 for future draft capital in 22. Whether that's multiple seconds, whether that's a protected first. I think in this case, it would probably be seconds just because Atlanta really isn't in a position to move on from first any longer. But there's a guy here that you have to go and grab, and that's Mies Rasheer Fleming. If you are able to walk out of a 2025 draft with Jeremiah Fears, Rasheer Fleming, Thomas Sorber, and Carter Bryant, you've done your work. Like, that is by far the perfect scenario for you. So I wouldn't hate that whatsoever.
Hang on real quick. Talk about Fleming. I want to look up how much this is going to cost NBA rookie contracts. Talk about Fleming for a while. I want to look up how much signing these 4 rookies.
There's a chart that'll show you it. And I actually think I did all of these guys in my last mock off-season scenario. I can actually pull it up for you right now. Fears would cost $7.5 million roughly a year. I think the start of his contract is $6.6 million. Sorber, I had him at 21 when I was originally doing these mocks. So at 19, I had him at $2.7 million a year. He's probably going to be around 3 to 3.2.
I can pull up I want to get the
exacts.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I know there's here it is. Real GM has it. All right. So let me just see what it would cost us next year. We took Fears at 7. That would be 6.3. Carter
Yeah, Fears
Bryant
at 7 would be. Oh, this is 24, 25. Let me see.
Yeah,
25,
I
26.
got
At 7 it would be roughly 6.3. At 14, which is the
6.3.
trade up, it would be roughly 4.1. At 19, it's roughly 3.1, and at 22, it would be roughly 2.8.
All right, so it was 6.3, 4.1. So that's 10.4, 13 and a half, 14 and a half, 15, 16.3 million in rookies. That's a pretty penny.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
listen, if that's
penny.
your future,
Yeah.
though, you got these
Yeah.
guys locked down for 3-4 years each. Why not?
Yeah, for sure. But my point was I wanted to show how the cap space that we have is kind of a mirage. We're paying rookies $16 million, right? So if we have $80 million worth of cap space, you're going to give Cam 20 plus, let's say 22. You're going to give Zaire 10, that's 32. And then you have 16 here. You're at $48 million already. You know what I'm saying? So that all that cap space that we have, it's not real. A lot of that is going to be gone. Not that it's bad. We got 4 rookies who I like a lot. If we walked away with this, I'm very happy with this. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that this idea that we have unlimited cap space really is not the case after you factor
bring in the rookie class. Yeah. After the rookie class, it's going to be roughly somewhere between 23 to 30 million of the potential 55 to 75 million we may have. So it'll be interesting to see.
In this situation, we got rid of Cam, so that would open up another 20. So I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? We traded Cam Johnson in this scenario, so we'd have a little more. Yeah.
Well, remember, if you're getting back Harrison Barnes, though, you're freeing up about $1.5 million.
So
you're freeing up about $1.5 million this year, but in terms of next year, you're freeing up $20 million because you're getting off of Cam Johnson's long-term contract,
which is where you want to be. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But Indiana's up here at 23. This is their first pick of the draft. Let's see who's on the board currently.
Nick Clifford, Will Riley, Walter Clayton.
This is such a bad spot for them because there's no centers on the board. You know what? What if we did a trade up here with Charlotte? I like Charlotte moving into the first round. They have pick 33 and 34. Do they give up 33 and a future protected first to move up to 23, or do they give up 34 and a future protected first to move up to 23? I think they could. I mean, we gave them Malawak in the first. There's guys like Will Riley still on the board who I think is a good fit for them. I think Indiana needs center really badly. I think it's a little too early to take Juan Beringer and Janai Broom. So let's go Charlotte as a move up. I like this a lot because we're probably going to have Washington or Utah also move up into the first round with a team like the Clippers or somebody.
You want to do 33 and 34?
Let's just go 34, and we'll just say for the scenario of a future protected first round pick, like a top 12 protected first. Or honestly, you can even say lottery protected. Like I think, Indiana is not really in a good cap spot position. They're going to need to figure out ways to bring back Miles Turner, and if they can't get him, they got to find his replacement. So I think at 33, you have a better chance of finding his replacement than you do drafting a bit higher on somebody who shouldn't be going in that position. So Charlotte here at 23. Yeah, give me Will Riley for them. I think this is a really nice, fun piece for them. A guy who can play the 2, who can play the 3, can interchange with Brandon Miller, but also has defensive upside as a wing. Reminds me a lot of Cam Johnson and Trey Murphy, can space the floor, and I think that's exactly what you need to put next to LaMelo Ball. So I don't mind that pick whatsoever for them.
OKC's out at 24.
Yeah, it's hard to have them trade that pick now that you have these guys on the board, right? I think you kind of have to go one of Nick Clifford or Alex Condon here. And to me, I don't see a world where Nick Clifford can fall any further. So go give me Nick Clifford. I don't know how he's utilized. I don't know how they have the roster spots for this anymore, but they'll figure it out. They always do.
Orlando is back up at 25. They got Newell at 16.
Yeah, this is the Walter Clayton pick for me. I think if you're
Yeah, for
going to
sure.
move on from Anthony Black, if you're going to move on from KCP, you got to find that backup guard to come off the bench. And I think Clayton's a plug-in, ready to go type of guy. I don't like his fit personally in Brooklyn. I know there's a lot of people, oh my God, go get Walter Clayton. We're so bad. There's no reason to get seniors out of college who are ready to play right away with very minimal developmental skills left in them. Go for youth. Go for guys who you can plug in um, and be long-term fits. Like to me, Rasheer Fleming is one of the anomalies of later end college guys that you can get, like juniors and seniors. He's probably one of 3 guys I would draft who's a junior or a senior. To me, Clayton's not one of them.
We got Atlanta up next. They got Chase Richards, which I think, and we're assuming that they're trading, they're moving on from Trae Young. That's the assumption.
Yeah.
I know who I would take here. I want to see what you have to say here.
I'm gonna have him go Juan Beringer. I think they need a backup center. Clint Capella is going to be off the books. He's leaving for free. I think you got to go with the backup big man here, and I think Beringer is flying up draft boards to a point where you could see him in the late or mid-20s.
Where is he at? Have I passed him?
Who are you looking for?
Oh, he's right here. He's the first name on the board. I'm looking for him. I'm like, why can't I not find him? Okay.
All right, let's see. Who's up next? This is San Antonio again? Jesus. This makes a ton of sense for them, and he's flying up draft boards too. Give me Bogola Job Markovich. Yeah. Say the name 3 times fast, and he'll appear.
I wanted to ask you. I had Isaiah Evans or Cam Jones going another scorer for Atlanta. You think they would go with the backup center as opposed?
Yeah, because if you look at the way that the roster is constructed, you got Ricochet, you got Jalen Johnson, you've got your impending package of potentially Anthony Black and KCP for Trae Young.
On what they got back in that.
Yeah, and then you also have Chase Richardson. So to me, they're pretty set on shooters and scorers. It's more so, depth pieces and rotational pieces that they're going to have to start building off of. And Beringer still has upside, so there's definitely room for them to grow.
Boston at 28.
Yeah, you kind of have. I don't see why they wouldn't go with this. Give me Alex Condon. I think that this is a nice replacement for Al Horford for when he eventually retires. At 6'10", 6'11", can space the floor, can put the ball on the floor. He had a bit of foul or traveling issues and turnover issues in the national championship game, but he can kind of do a little bit of everything, and I think as a backup to a KCP, Kristaps Porzingis, I should say. If they end up moving him, then I think Condon could be a solid replacement and do similar things. Of course, not to the extent and level that Porzingis does, but definitely could be an impactful rotational piece for Boston in their championship window.
Phoenix is up next. It's their first pick. This comes from Cleveland.
This is tough.
No one knows what they're doing. I imagine Kevin Durant's not there. I don't know if Bradley Beal's there. I don't know what is there. Yeah.
You have to think of what the package is for Kevin Durant, right? Like that's kind of what it comes down to in figuring out what position they would look to trade for. So I'm looking at the machine right now. You've got Houston and Phoenix most likely as the trade partners. For this instance, we'll say KD to Houston. We'll say you have to throw in the picks. I think that Houston uses their 2025 pick, but you would be giving them back their 2026, is it? No, their 2027. You'd probably be giving up the Nets swap rights in 2027, and you would also be giving up their 2029 first. So I think like 2 or 3 firsts for KD. It is a team option for Fred VanVleet if they're able to accept that and include him in the deal. That could be something interesting. But I'm going to just say Jalen Green, Reed Shepherd, and Cam Whitmore. I think that's like a solid return.
Yeah. God, they got talent on that team, man. I love Cam Whitmore. He can barely crack the rotation.
Yeah. Right. It'll be interesting to see what they do. But yeah, so to me, if you're getting some guard and wing depth in Phoenix, you're going to probably want to look again at the wing position. And the one with the most upside to me here is probably Hugo Gonzalez.
So we are done. We're done with the first round, right?
We have one more pick.
Oh, okay, one more pick. Right. Yeah. Oh, okay. The Clippers.
Yep. So again, kind of an interesting spot. They may not necessarily need him, but I just don't think that they would want to pass up on him either. And that to me is Cam Jones. I continue to have him in the first round. I'm going to have Thomas Haw fall to the second round, but yeah, I mean, if you look at the board, you've got LeBaron Filan, Isaiah Evans, Thomas Haw, Janai Broom, Addo Thiaro, Boogie Flan. Like these are all first round caliber players. So your first 6 to 10 picks in the second round are going to be really high upside players that could make an impact for you. And to start off the second round, we have Dallas via the Minnesota trade. And I think this is a good spot to go LeBaron Filan. You go with your point guard, a guy that can defend at a high caliber. Could be a developmental piece while Kyrie's out for the first half of the season. I like that fit for them a ton there.
Isaiah Evans, Broom.
Yeah, it has to be Isaiah Evans.
No Penda.
Yeah, usually I have Isaiah Evans to Boston at 28. I wanted to switch it up a bit and see if he'd still be there, which for this case he is. But yeah, this is a perfect fit. You go grab 2 wings / bigs. Condon can play the 5 and the 4. Evans, of course, being able to play the 2-3. I think this is good depth for them, especially since they lack depth. And they're also going to have to start moving off of contracts because of that apron. So I think these are great moves for them.
Charlotte's up at 32. They've had a good day so far. They've had a good draft. Maluak and Will Riley at 6 and 23. They're up again at 33. They've had a good draft. This is a good. You're happy right now.
Definitely. I mean, to me, if I'm them, I'm looking at a backup for a specific position because I do think Trey Mann leaves in restricted free agency. I don't think that they should overpay to bring him back. Have them take Boogie Flan. I think this is a really solid piece to put next to LaMelo and have a guy off the bench who can, score at a high caliber, can play, make, and run an offense. The efficiencies need to get better, but I think this is something that could really be fixed up. And, let's just say next year is a complete bust for Charlotte again, and LaMelo finally gets tired of it. This could be your replacement for him. And as a second round pick, I think it's an absolute steal. This is a guy who was just outside the lottery at his peak in college basketball last season in terms of projections. So if you're able to get him at 33, I think that's an absolute steal.
We move on to the Pacers. This is their first pick at 34. This was with the trade with the Hornets. That's why they're picking here.
Yeah, I'm going to have him go Janai Broom. I don't think he can fall any further either. I said that they needed a big man, and this is kind of a really just perfect Miles Turner replacement. May not be as tall, may not be as good of a shot blocker as Turner, but he can space the floor similar to Turner. He's a very sizable 4/5 that can bully you down low and grab rebounds. So I think it's a really good fit for them. And it kind of just gives them a cushion if they can't bring back Turner and if they can't bring in a high caliber starting big. You at least got a guy who's played 4 years in college who can be plugged in right away. So I don't hate that option for them whatsoever.
35, Philly. They already got Dylan Harper at 2. I would hate if this happened, but I know where I think they're going with this. But I want to see your thoughts on this.
I mean, this is pretty much a win for them just off the top 4 on the board currently, right? Like Thomas Haw, Addo Thiaro, Noah Penda, Maxime Reynaud. These are all really good fits for them. To me, I just don't think he can be on the board any further. And he's also a sophomore, so it's not like he doesn't have experience. But when you're looking at a team who should have been a potential Eastern Conference Finals team this year who is now somehow picking second overall in this lottery simulation, I think you need to go with guys who are experienced winners, and that's me, Thomas Haw, a guy who's coming off of a national championship, can space the floor, he's efficient from the field, he can rebound. It's a little bit of everything that Philly needs, so I like that pick for them there.
At 36, the Hawks are up with our pick. This was a trade that we made with them.
Yeah, I'm going to have them go Noah Penda. They need a wing. They already got the backup big. They already got the replacement guard. Let's go with a wing and another French connection with Zachariah Richard, something that I can see them trying to build off of. Noah Penda being a very high caliber defender. I definitely think that that's a solid fit for them as a backup wing.
37 is Detroit, who is going to beat the Knicks in the first round of the playoffs. What do they do?
give him Addo Thiaro. You got guys on expiring contracts. You may look to potentially add a guy like Zion Williamson this offseason. Thiaro at 6'8", he can play the 3, he can play the 4. He reminds me a ton of a more athletic Dorian Finney-Smith. A floor spacer, a guy that could just shoot the 3 and hit it with efficiency. So to me, it's a great fit for Detroit, especially with their playoff window being, now. So I like that fit for them.
San Antonio is back up, and they got Ken Knuppel, and you got to say this name for me, Bobalajub
Markovic. Yeah, however you want to say that. I mean, do we go with something funny here? Do we do the reverse Utah Jazz draft and go with the backup big man, or do we give them R.J. Lewis, a guy that they could plug in and play in the playoffs if they were to make it next year? It's kind of a tough spot, but to me, I think they need the backup big, especially with Wemby. Having his deep vein issue.
You want to go with the Stanford Center? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, that is what I'm thinking here. They got Bogo, who can play the 4. They get their backup 5 to help out with Wemby. They already are filled really to the brim with guards in De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell. I think they're good on guards. So to me, I think Maxime Reynaud is a really good fit for them there.
Toronto is back up. They took VJ at 3 instead of Ace.
Give me Kalkbrenner.
They could go. Yeah.
Give me Kalkbrenner. I think this is a good fit for them, especially with Jakob Poeltl, aging a bit and with their window of opportunity starting to be now. I think you need a backup big and a guy you can plug in right away. Toronto's a team that I see as a play-in team next year, so I definitely like the fit there for them.
Washington's having the best draft so far. They got Cooper and Traore. They're up with their second-round pick, number 40.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough spot because I would have gone Kalkbrenner or Maxime Reynaud for them. We maybe should have had them do a trade-up, but it's off the board. So to me, they got the point guard, they got the wing.
Well, obviously you rate Miles Bryant higher than Chaz Lanier. This is your draft board. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think just Miles Bird has more upside, but Chaz Lanier is definitely the better player coming out of college. Go Miles Bird. We'll go Miles Bird.
You got to draft upside. If you're taking second, if you're Washington draft in the second round, you have to.
Definitely. All right, Golden State up next.
This is their first pick.
Who's on the top of the board? There's one player above RJ. Pettiford. Who click trade? How many picks does Utah have in the second round?
43 and 52.
Give them both. Yeah, because Golden State didn't have a first. Let's give them both. Utah doesn't need 4 or 5 picks. We're going to have them just straight up move those. Maybe Golden State throws them an additional future second or 2 future seconds. We'll have Utah move up. They got Trey Johnson. They got Danny Wolf. I'm going to have them go to Todd Pettiford here. I think that as a backup point guard, you kind of have a ton of guard depth, but this is also going to leave you and put you in a position to eventually make a trade for somebody at some point in time. So you might as well just keep filling it up with youth and the depth pieces that you may need.
Sacramento at 42.
This to me screams Alex Caravan. I think that they need floor spacing. DeRozan, not a great three-point shooter. Levine, a very inconsistent shooter. Sabonis, potentially on his way out. To me, just go with somebody that will hopefully keep Sabonis happy for one more year or at least half of the year.
We go to Golden State now. Golden State's up. They just traded their pick.
Yeah, go RJ Lewis. This is a hell of a fit for them. A plug-in, ready-to-go winner. Playing at St. John's, he had an incredible season. Kind of shit himself in the March Madness tournament, but I think this is a guy that you could plug in immediately off the bench and give really good minutes to come next season.
With the 44th pick in the draft, OKC Thunder. OKC's got Saraf and Clifford.
I'm going to have them trade this pick. I got to get them off the board. They got way too much. Let's see. Who are the trade partners here? I believe Memphis has multiple seconds, but I don't think I'm going to have them trade that. Who doesn't have picks currently? If you scroll all the way to the bottom. Half the league. Jesus Christ.
Do we look to get back in here?
No, I can't see Brooklyn taking 5 picks.
Yeah.
Honestly, go Denver. We'll just have Denver throw in like, a future second or 2 future seconds. Just straight up give them 44. I don't see OKC taking 3 picks. And with Denver, they kind of need a little bit of everything because of how little depth they have. So to me, give them Chaz Lanier. I don't hate that. Combo guard, priority 2, good scorer, efficient. I like that a lot for them. They need a scorer off the bench, especially after losing Jeff Green, KCP, Bruce Brown. I mean, those were kind of their main scorers and defenders off the bench. I think Lanier could be a solid replacement for that.
We're up to the Bulls at 45. The Bulls have taken Igor at 12 to replace Giddey.
Yeah, they got Igor, so they're really not in a position to need Tyrese Proctor. There's talks about Vucevic being traded, but there's really not a center on the board that I like. To me, I think you got to go, again, with a nice floor spacer, somebody with a little bit of upside. Go Alex Tui here. I don't hate that for them whatsoever. I don't even think I have to think twice about this pick. Scroll down just a little bit. I want to see who's on the board. But yeah, I don't think I even have to think about this one. This should be easy.
Who are you taking?
Yeah, go back up. I'm going to have him go Sion James. Just a bruiser, 6'6", can play the 2, can play the 3. Solid floor spacer. Just exactly what they need over in Orlando. I don't hate that at all.
Milwaukee at 47.
This is rough.
Yeah.
This is very rough for them. I'm going to have them go. I think Brook Lopez is gone. I'm going to have them go Rocco Zikarsky. I think that if they are to trade off of Giannis, it's going to be for picks next year and years following. So to me, go Zikarsky here. Just a big somebody that they could develop this upcoming season. Maybe if they do bring Brook Lopez back on a 1-year deal, maybe a guy that could help him develop. But yeah, that's a rough spot if you're Milwaukee, especially with the way that they lost Game 1. They do not look like they're making it out of the first.
Cleveland at 48.
Is Ty Jerome an expiring contract?
Give me 1 second. Yes, he is.
But it says CEO. Does that mean he's a team option or is he a player option? How does that work?
I'll look him up.
I'm looking it up right now. I got you. Let's see. Proctor contract. Oh, wait. Why am I looking up Tyrese Proctor? Ty Jerome. Contract details. Ty Jerome contract details. Come on, Dylan.
No, there's no. It just expires at the end of the year. There's no options.
All right, then yeah, go Tyrese Proctor here. I don't hate that. Get a seasoned guard who can facilitate your bench unit, and I think Proctor does that very well. It'll be an interesting fit. They have Garland, but I think if Ty Jerome's gone, with the way that he played, he's definitely earned himself a little bit more money, and I think that money is something that Cleveland doesn't have.
So this is coming from the Knicks. The Knicks at 4. So the Knicks just got bounced out of the playoffs in the first round, and they have 1 pick. Who are they taking at 49?
If you scroll down a bit, I think Micah Peavy could be a really good option for them, as well as Caleb Love, as well as Kadary Richmond. It really just depends on what they feel is the need. I do think they're going to be, especially if they get knocked out in the first round, I think they're going to be very aggressive and do a very strange trade. Something that a lot of people may not be expecting. But yeah, these are all guys who are off the board now, unfortunately. All of those guys that you're looking at right there are guys who are transferring or already back in college and committed. So to me, if you are the Knicks, if I'm the Knicks, I'm taking Micah Peavy. I think he's a guy that can
Okay.
give you a little bit of everything. He's on the top of the board, second player, or third
There
player.
it is.
Yeah, I think this is a really good fit for them. I mean, 17 points, almost 4 assists, 6 rebounds, 46% from the field. I really like that fit for them.
I tried to get him the New York City kid, Kobe
I
Bryant.
know.
Not going to happen. Memphis at 50.
Tough spot again. Do they move off of
is their
Ja
first
Morant?
pick.
What ends up happening with them? They have a young wing depth in Desmond Bain, Gigi Jackson, Vince Williams. Do they bring back Santi Aldama? If not, they still have John Conchar, Brandon Clark, Jaren Jackson.
I want to do a whole show on the big names down the road. Ja Morant
definitely.
being one of them. If Ja Morant becomes available, is that someone we pursue?
I hope not.
Really?
There's already enough gun violence and trash talk in New York. You know, just leave that shit off my team. I've seen enough. I'm good. You know,
definitely. Okay.
There's nothing that he gives us. He's on a stacked team in Memphis, and he's either injured or suspended. I know. I'm good. It's like bringing Zion Williamson to a New York market. He's already eating in one of the fat places of the universe. I know, and that's the problem. You know, let's move him from one fat place of America to the other fat place of America. Get him away from food, just like how you should get Ja Morant away from gun violence. Like, it's just get him away from anything that he's currently dealing with now. Just pass. I'm good. To me, I think Ja Morant, the perfect fit for him is Toronto. If I'm being honest, I think that is a perfect fit for him up there with Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram. And if you could give RJ Barrett to Memphis, I think that's a really solid fit for them. They got Scottie Pippen Jr., who could run the point guard spot as a starter. He's not great, but he's not horrible. He kind of reminds me of like a Tyus Jones impact player, which is a starting point guard in this league. But yeah, if I'm Memphis, I'm looking at Toronto as a potential Ja Morant team. So for them, yeah, let's go with a point guard depth. I'm going to have them go Caleb Love out of Arizona. I think he lit it up in the tournament to a point where he is going to be drafted this year. The efficiency, again, not great, but a microwave scorer who can be a solid depth piece for Memphis, especially if they're looking to continue their playoff runs if they move off of Ja Morant.
We're moving along here. 51. We're back to the Clippers. The Clippers took Cam Jones, a pick I like a lot, at 30. They're up again at 51.
He's officially hitting the board. I haven't had him in a draft yet this year. We're gonna go Hanson. I believe it's. I'm not even gonna try and butcher it so I don't look like a dick. Big man, center, Hanson Yang. Yes, I was right. Okay, I didn't want to say it and then just look like an asshole. But yeah, Hanson Yang out of China. I believe he's 7'1". It says.
I've never heard of this guy in my life. I'll be honest. So he's from China, and his parents named him Hanson.
Hey, no comment. I don't.
I've never met
a
guy
clue.
from China named Hanson, but all right.
I mean, I could be butchering the way that it's said. Who knows? But over there in China right now, he's 7'1". He's 19 years old. He's averaging 16 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks, roughly 60% from the field. He can actually space the floor. He's shooting 29% from 3. So, it's definitely not a bad piece to add if you're them.
All right, go. I'm still getting a Chinese guy named Hanson. All right.
Oh God.
Golden State at 52.
Yeah, I mean this is a pick, that's for sure.
People like Dink Patay. He's still here. What are your thoughts on Dink Patay? I've heard his name a lot. What are your thoughts on him?
On who?
Dink Patay.
I loved him coming out of the college season because I still saw upside in him. But when you're looking at the rest of the board and some of these teams in the second round, like he's a project player. He's not a great shooter. He's very inconsistent. There's room for growth. How
old is he?
He's only 18, 19, I believe. He's been in the G League now for 2 years. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see them going with another wing. If anything, I could see them going potentially point guard. And why not add the St. John's guys together? Go Kadary Richmond here. Bring him home.
Chris Mullin is ecstatic right now.
Yeah, I mean, Richmond's one of my favorite underrated prospects this year. Had a couple of triple doubles. He can do a little bit of everything. To me, he's one of my favorite late second round picks.
Hugo Gonzalez, we're in Phoenix. They took Hugo Gonzalez at 29. It's a good pick for them. Do they
Who's
take Diakite?
who's the players from 56 to 60 on the board?
Scott, Lowe, Kobe Bria. Lindeborg is out. Yeah.
Yeah, give him Dink, I guess. Realistically, these last couple of picks, there's nothing incredibly special about anything.
There's not
like,
much here. Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of just taking what you can get. Indiana, Peyton Sandford. Like, this isn't even a question. White guy in Indiana that can shoot, sign him up. This is your guy. Averaged 17.6 rebounds, lit it up from 3. That's a perfect fit for them.
The Lakers are up at 55.
Yeah, this is honestly a tough pick for them. I'm going to give him Kobe Bria, though.
Shooter.
I think this is a solid. Yeah, give him a shooter. Especially if they move on from Rui and Gabe Vincent for Claxton, or Knet and Rui for Claxton. I think that's a really solid pickup to add some floor
when
spacing.
You have Bron and Luka, you just want to put shooters on the court.
Yeah, by far.
And he's a shooter, so yeah, I think that pick makes perfect sense for them. The Knicks are back up. It took Peavy, who I don't know much about. We got Salas and we got a St. John's guy.
Yeah, give him Hunter Silas. I think that. I mean, listen, if they were to have 2 picks, this would be great. But I'm assuming this is the forfeited pick.
Yeah.
You know, if this was a world where they had the pick, great pick. But they likely don't. So.
Memphis took Caleb Love at 50. They're back up at 57.
Give him defense. Go Aaron Scott. I think this is a really good defensive wing. You know, Marvin Bagley's on an expiring contract. Who knows if they bring him back? Scott can't play the 4, but he's at 6'7". He's a very good upside wing in terms of defense. So I actually like that a lot.
Yeah, almost through this at 58. Orlando's had a good draft. They got Aston Noel and Walter Clayton in the first round. They got Sion James at 46. This is a really, really good draft for. I don't know if they can add all these guys, but this is a really good draft for Orlando.
Yeah, no, definitely. And we're going to have them trade this pick because I don't see them taking 4 guys.
Right.
So we're just going to look for a team who doesn't have a second round pick currently, who's off the board. I mean, that's going to be 27 teams right now, I think. Yeah. Denver, we already had move up. Who else is down here?
Detroit.
Clippers, I don't see them doing it. They don't have picks. The Lakers, no. Miami missed out on that lottery pick because they made the play-in. Let's go Miami. Why not? Just give them 58. We'll just say, you know, they give a future second, whatever. And they got a Sengu. Who is he? Give him Jalen Lowe. I think they need a point guard. I don't hate that pick whatsoever. Especially with, you know, Rozier being a potential trade candidate. Jalen Lowe is somebody that you can have as a backup point guard for sure. And then last pick, they got Proctor. Yeah, give him a guy who can play the 4 and the 5, Michael Ruzick. I actually really like that. That makes a ton of sense.
And
the final... They have one more pick? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, Houston. No. Who do I have on my board? That's like a real person. Let's see. Oh, I never had Miles Uzan go. Damn, that sucks. Or Otego, or Sergio Delaria. Jesus.
There's still some names on it. Mark Sears is. I mean, I don't have to take a point guard, but
yeah. Oh, that sucks. I kind of messed that up. Let's go Miles Uzan. Just type it in, but yeah, he'll definitely go a little bit higher than that. Like realistically, the last 2 or 3 picks. No, he's not on this. So honestly, just have like Darian Williams or one of these guys go, and we'll just type in.
Okay.
It's Milos Uzan, Uzan.
Hang on. How am I doing? So okay, hang on.
Just a draft analysis where it says. Or yeah, you can just do that. We don't even have to type it in realistically.
Yeah. What's the
Milos, and then Uzan, Uzan.
And where is he from?
I want to say that he played. Was it Arkansas? Miles Uzan. He played at Houston.
Okay.
Yeah, solid guy. I mean, realistically, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, we'll recap this real quickly. I mean, this only took us an hour and 15 minutes on the dot, so not bad at all. But if you look at the last, I would say from Aaron Scott to Miles Uzan, those 4 picks could probably drop out of the draft, and you can replace them with Uzan, Otego-Wu, Sergio Delaria, and then one of those last 4 guys, I would say. I would have Uzan, Otego-Wu, and Sergio Delaria probably in the early 50s rather than the late end of the second round. But yeah, I didn't have the board in front of me that I have, and those are the 3 names that are still missing from the list. But overall, I mean, this is definitely something that I could see being very realistic, just in terms of kind of the selections and the ranges of picks of where they're going. But what are your thoughts on it?
This is the most trades we've done in a draft. For the Nets, this is a home run. There were a couple teams like Orlando, the Nets, that did very, very well. If we walk away with Fears, Bryant, Sorber, Fleming, like
Sean Marks, we love you at that point again.
Yeah.
We're back. We're roped in again.
Until he messes this up again somehow. This is everyone. Look, I understand you didn't get one of the top 3 guys you wanted, right? But we knew that was going to be rough when we finished with the 6 worst or 6 best odds. How we want to look at that. If we're drafting 7, you can't ask for more than this. You really can't.
Definitely.
So I'm happy with this. We keep ending up with Fears, whether we pick 5, 6, or 7. We end up with Fears. So my guess is we're going to be okay because I consider Fears a future all-star caliber player. So if we draft in the top 3, I think we get an all-star caliber player. If we draft 4, 5, 6, or 7, we keep ending up with Fears. So I think we get an all-star caliber player. I think we weren't happy with the way they half tanked the season, half didn't. Nothing they did this year we liked. But if we end up with one of those 3 guys or Fears, which we consistently end up doing in these mocks, I'm okay with it. Like, I guess all's well that ends well. But you know that if this happens, Marks isn't going to take Fears and he's going to take someone ridiculous. You know that's coming. But
unfortunately,
yeah. If we end up, he's going to take Trey Johnson. If we end up with this, with Fears or one of those top 3 names, it's kind of mission accomplished. Like, I mean, I know nothing went well the way the season we wanted to, right? Nothing we did at all this year made any sense. There was no rhyme or reason to anything that we did. But if we end up with Fears or one of the top 3 guys, it kind of worked. What do you think?
No, I definitely agree. I was just writing down because I'm actually going to use this for a mock draft idea. I just want to make sure I have it right. It was Jeremiah Fears at 7. The Nets trade pick 27 and Cam Johnson to the Spurs for Harrison Barnes, and pick 14. They selected Carter Bryant. At 19, we got Thomas Sorber, and at 22, we traded, 26 and 36 to Atlanta for 22 in future draft capital. Got Rasheer Fleming. Yeah, I mean, that's a sick draft. Like, if that's what night 1 of draft night looks like for Brooklyn, and if I'm either in attendance or watching it on TV, naked backflips. Not even to put it out there, but I mean, I'm tumbling down the street with just socks on. That is by far like the perfect draft scenario for me if you miss out on Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper. So I would hope, but again, we're dealing with Sean Marks, so do I trust him now?
Do you take all? I mean, do you start all 4 of these guys next year in Cam Thomas? Would you go Fears, Thomas, Bryant, Sorber, Bryant, Fleming, Sorber? So Fears at the 1, Cam at the 2, Bryant at the 3, Fleming at the 4, Sorber at the 5.
I think the only person that starts is Fears. I think Carter Bryant is a project guy. I think Sorber, depending on if you trade.
Cam Johnson is traded in this scenario. Cam Johnson's out. Yeah.
Well, remember, we would also probably be bringing back Zaire Williams. So you'd have Zaire, who's playing the 3. Right. You have Cam Thomas playing the 2.
You'd have Harrison Barnes in the
Yeah, you'd have Harrison Barnes as well. I mean, but you would also have to think Noah Clowney's going to try and get the push to be the starting 4. You know, to me, to me, you're guaranteed guys who are in this scenario. Are we saying Claxton's also traded for Hachimura and Knet?
Oh, we didn't trade.
Well, remember, Claxton would have to be in after the draft.
Off my team anymore, Dylan.
I know.
don't want him on my
Let's
team
just say realistically, right? This is our draft. Cam Johnson's gone. Do they keep Claxton? What do you think?
Ask that question again. I'm sorry.
I said, let's just say realistically, this is the scenario, right? June 27th, this is our draft. Is it, and Cam Johnson's also traded. Is Claxton on the team at that point? Or do you think they also try and move him realistically?
You got to try to move him.
All right, so let's say that you move him, right? You would be looking at Cam Thomas, Zaire Williams, and Day'Ron Sharpe. Those are your 3 solidified starters, right? So then you would have competitions between Noah Clowney, Rui Hachimura, Harrison Barnes, and Rasheer Fleming to play the 4. You would have to think Rui Hachimura probably gets that. And then at the 1, who are you bringing in? Are you bringing in Trey Mann?
Rui's on an expiring deal. Is he a buyout candidate?
I think Barnes is a buyout candidate. I think Rui actually has trade value that you could flip at the deadline.
It's his contract, though. His contract's not that bad, actually.
No, it's only $18 million.
Yeah, it's only 18. You're right. Yeah, you could trade him.
It's kind of similar to DFS. If you can get, multiple seconds and a salary filler, I don't mind it. I also don't mind just trying to sit him out for half the damn season and let his contract expire. Like, I don't know. It's definitely a lot of competition. I would think you'd have to see another move going to happen, whether it's one of Barnes or Rui on the move. I don't think Jalen Wilson would be on the team in this scenario. I think they would decline his team option.
You don't bring him back. There's no need to
I think the only 2 players that have a chance at coming back based on the team options that we have is Keon Johnson and Tyrese Martin. And I know we don't want to hear that, but I think those are the only 2 players that have a legitimate chance. I think Drew Timme gets declined because why are you going to pay him $2.5 million when you can just bring him back on a 2-way deal? I think that's more realistic, if anything. So yeah, I mean, you're talking Keon Johnson, Tyrese Martin, Jeremiah Fears, Carter Bryant, Sorber, Rasheer Fleming, right? So that's already 6 players. You got Day'Ron, Rui Hachimura, Harrison Barnes. That's 9. Let's just say in this scenario, Dalton Knet, that's 10, right? You've got a couple of spots in free agency that you can fill. And then I think I'm missing Dariq Whitehead. So yeah, you probably have like 2 or 3 available slots in free agency if you have that roster. So it'll be interesting to see. But I mean, out of this draft specifically, I think my winners would be us, of course. I always build great drafts because why would I screw my team over like Sean Marks does? I honestly think Golden State, for what they were given, out of the 2 second-round picks for them to land RJ Lewis and
they got the 2 St. John's guys,
yeah, that's great fit for them. I think Charlotte did really well in this. If you scroll up a little bit, I can maybe tell a little bit more about the first round. But let's see.
Well, Washington's a winner. Orlando's a winner. Didn't Charlotte do really well on the draft too?
Washington, Orlando, Charlotte, Brooklyn, Golden State. Like that would probably be up there with my top 5. I mean, San Antonio did really well too. Kneppel, Bogalajub. They did really well as well. I mean, Dallas could be up there too considerably. They got a Sengu. They got LeBaron Filan. That's really solid. Philly getting Dylan Harper and Thomas Haw. That's really solid. I don't hate that whatsoever for them. But yeah.
This was well done. This was well done for the amount of trades that we did.
How many did we do total? 6 or 7?
I didn't.
We'll start from the. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then probably one more. 7. Yeah. So 7 total trades. That's about realistic to what I think could happen. Yeah. I mean, you would have to think there's between 3 to 5 in the first round and maybe 4 to 6 in the second round. And the only reason I say there's more in the second round is because there's teams with multiple seconds that don't need them, right? Like OKC realistically could have traded that pick for 2 or 3 future second round picks. They did it last year as well. So there's definitely a lot more room for trades in the second round because you just don't have to give up much. But no, it'll be interesting. We got draft lottery night in 20 days.
20 days, yeah.
We are officially at the less than 3 week mark. So
There we go.
We'll see.
We're gonna
I
find
was gonna
out.
say once that lottery comes out, I mean, you're talking 1 or 2 mock drafts a week, like one round mock and then 1 2-round mock per week. I think that's kind of what we could be seeing from May 12th up until June 27th. So it'll be fun.
All right, so let's. I know you got your interview tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, that is right. 1:30.
So you want to come back Thursday or Friday, and we'll talk about we'll talk about those options and who we expect to see back on the roster and who we expect not to see back on the roster.
Let's go Thursday. I think that should work. I don't think I have anything going on right now.
Tentatively, does this time work? 12:30, 11,
Yeah.
12:30. Okay.
Yeah, this should work.
All right. That was a good one. This was a good mock draft. I think this is the best one we've done so far, honestly.
I feel like every single one, every new one is always going to be the best one, right? Yeah, no, I definitely
for us.
Yeah, that's a killer draft. I was going to say, and I think, let's see, the only player I don't have a jersey swap for on that is Carter Bryant. Yeah, by the way, too, for those of you who are watching, and if I start posting jersey swaps, you guys better give credit to my guy, DC Digitals, man. That dude cooks up some incredible work. I've got over 15 right now, jersey swaps. I'm no longer posting them on Twitter because you people are animals. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of gatekeep them until draft night. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, I'm ready, locked and loaded with every post possible come that night. So make sure to follow me at Nets Press on Instagram if you want the fastest, most reliable source of all thing Brooklyn Nets news. We're going to be all over draft night, hopefully in attendance, if not posts left and right. So yeah, just make sure to go follow us over there if you want that.
And when the Nets sign LeVert and re-sign D'Lo, you don't even need to do a jersey swap. You can just pull up a nostalgic picture. So we're going to save you the work on that.
I'd honestly be in a coma. I would rather be in a coma for multiple years.
They got LeVert and D'Lo on 1-year deals. You don't think they're good tanking pieces?
No. Because you know what it is? We said the same thing about Schroeder and DFS, and we said the same thing about, we moved Schroeder and DFS. There's no way Cam Johnson can keep winning games. And then guess what? D'Lo and Cam Johnson won games. Like, just keep the veterans that are on expiring contracts and that are prove-it type of guys and who are reuniting in Brooklyn again. Keep that shit away from me. You want to add, 26, 27-year-old veterans, by all means, feel free for a fraction of the cost. But just don't bring back guys who have been here. Don't bring back guys who have something to prove. Don't bring back guys who have been playing on winning teams for the last couple of years. Culture's great. Building team chemistry is great. But come on. You could save that shit for after you get your 2 studs in the draft this year and next year. Save it. I'm cool with 3-year rebuild. 2-year draft, 3 years development. I'm fine with that. I'm 23 and I've never seen a championship. I can wait 3 more years. I can promise.
I don't like the poisoning the well in this comment, Lou. Wasting them. Spending them.
It is wasting. It is
wasting. Is poisoning the well.
Because you know what the problem is? You know what the problem is? D'Lo, if you bring him back, okay, let's say you draft Harper or Fears. You're ruining their development. They should be starting right away so they can make the mistakes early and develop quicker. If you bring back LeVert, all right, well, you're taking away minutes from Cam Thomas, and you're also giving a guy a bench role where he's going to succeed and score at will. Build a team that's good and young and exciting to watch, but can't win games late down the stretch. And the problem is, with the veterans that you're looking at, right, those guys can win games down the stretch. And that's our biggest problem. In the fourth quarter, we were coming back and winning games that we were down 12-13 by. We were holding leads against top seeds in the West and the East late down the stretch. Why? Because we had players who can close games. That's what we have to get rid of. You want to add veterans, by all means, add Gabe Vincent. Add Gabe Vincent from the Lakers.
But D'Lo is such a defensive liability, and he's so soft.
Yeah, but he fucking hits threes at an excessive rate when there's 4 seconds on the clock. I don't want to see him touch his vein anymore. I'm over it. I'm over it. I don't want to see him win games for us anymore. It was cool when we didn't have picks. It was cool when we were trying to fight for play-in spots or playoff spots at the time. I'm tired of it. I don't want to see that shit anymore. I want to see youth excitement, and a dog shit win-loss ratio. That's all I want to see.
How
So
about we
one
do
more
this? We
year.
get D'Lo, and we play him 20 minutes a game, almost all in the first half, or all in the first half.
Why waste a roster spot?
You keep using the word waste.
Waste. It is.
Spend.
It is.
Spend
It
a
is.
roster spot.
It's like government spending. Half the shit we spend
like,
money on is a waste.
Juwan Howard and Udonis Haslem and Andre Iguodala, right? Is that a wasted roster spot when those guys were in the league?
Udonis Haslem is a waste. You genuinely could have hired him as like a player manager or like an assistant.
Yeah, but
to free up that
29,
roster.
You're not going to hire a 29-year-old.
Exactly. So you know what you do? Ready? This is what you do with D'Lo. Here, I'll show you.
I get it. It doesn't make any sense to have him on the team. Really, I said that this year. He's my favorite. I was psyched when we got him, and then I was like, "Why the hell is he here?" Like, it doesn't make any sense to have.
Somebody clipped that, by the way, too. That was good.
I don't disagree that it makes no sense to have him.
Yeah, no, it doesn't whatsoever. Like, to me, Trey Mann, really fun, exciting young point guard, probably can't impact the game of winning. You know, drafting a point guard, being able to start him, can't really impact the game of winning right away. You know, I'm very against and very just not looking to repeat what we did this year, right? Like, I don't want to have the debate for 82 straight games on why we need to keep tanking. And, you know, the other side being like, oh, but we're winning games. We can compete. We're not bad. Like, no, we're bad. We're horrible. We just have a coach that knows how to game plan. And we have a couple of guys who know how to win games late down the stretch. Like, get rid of all that. Don't give this coach any form of winning caliber player next year. Just build youth. It'll be exciting. They'll get a couple of leads here and there. But I don't give a shit. They could lose by 1. They could lose by 81. As long as you are top 3 in the draft next year, I'm happy. I think that's got to be the goal, the mindset from day one. They didn't take it seriously this year. That wasn't the mindset this year heading into it. It's got to be taken seriously this year.
I don't know why it's going to be taken more seriously next year than it is this past year, but we'll see.
Because realistically, there was probably no real player outside of Cam Thomas and Noah Clowney who you were looking to develop further. And both of those guys played 1/3 of the season because they were all hurt, or 1/4 of the season. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I think next year is like a redo year for those two, while also being a year for Dariq Whitehead to hopefully get minutes, while also being a year where you're going to have 3 to 5 rookies coming in and playing. So to me, that's where I see the more losing, is with the youth that you're bringing in, kind of giving the opportunities and those late game shots in close games to the youth. Like, those guys aren't going to hit those shots very often, you know, but I would prefer to see them take it and miss than D'Lo or Cam Johnson taking it and hitting it. Like, you know, Cam Thomas hits a buzzer beater 3 to win a game against the Knicks. I'm happy with that. You know, I'll take a win here and there because of that. But when it's Cam Johnson or D'Lo hitting it, it's like, I want to gouge my eyes out. I want to throw up. I want to projectile vomit everywhere. I don't want to see that. You know?
I get it. Yeah. If the youth did it, it's understandable. It's like, okay. Like in Portland, you got these young guys who are overperforming and you win some games. Like, okay, you live with that. When it's the best is when it's D'Lo, when it's Dorian Finney-Smith, when it's Schroeder, it's like, why this? Why are you even playing? Yeah,
exactly. Like, you know, the last 5 minutes of a fourth quarter game in a close game, none of those guys should have been playing. Like, not one of them.
Most of them shouldn't even been on the roster, but that's another. Yeah, that's another story entirely. But.
I just saw Lou's comment. First and foremost, you spoiled it for me. Second, yeah, I completely agree. That's how they should do, D'Lo. If you've never watched The Last of Us or played the video game, watch episode 2 of season 2. I haven't watched it yet, but my friend already spoiled it for me too. He's like, "Oh my god!" Let me not say it, but you get the whole drift. Kick him out. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for talking high. But we remember what you did the first time, and we also don't need what you did the first time to happen again, especially this year. You want to come back in 2 years again? Feel free. But next year, man, just go find somewhere else.
I was arguing with Doug Norrie from Locked On Nets about D'Lo, and he
Mhm.
say like how he shouldn't be playing. I was like, well, he's actually a great tank piece, and he gave me a stat. He's like, the Nets are a +5 total when D'Angelo Russell was on the court. I was like, are they really? Like they played a lot better when I know he shot the ball horribly,
Yeah.
but he's still creating offense, right? Like you still have the game plan for D'Angelo Russell. Like you still have to, and he's still creating offense. He's still finding people, even though he didn't shoot the ball well. Like, could you imagine if he did? Could you imagine if he shot his typical 36, 37% from three? They would have won a bunch more games.
Yeah. Yeah, it's.
And when he gave
I'm
me that
tired
stat,
of
I
it.
was like, oh wow, it's really he really is. I didn't think he was going to impact winning. Like they got him. I said he'll score 38 one game and they'll win a meaningless game in Washington. Like who cares? But they're
Do
not going to
you
win a bunch.
are you subscribed to the New York Post? Like, do you see the full articles?
No.
I'm still trying to find somebody to get me the whole Brian Lewis report from today, because he said why Nets may bypass the 2025 free agency and look into the 2026 free agency. Like, if that headline is exactly the route that they're looking to go, that to me seems like you're moving on from Cam Johnson for expiring contracts. You're moving on from Nick Claxton for expiring contracts. Like, you're putting a ton of money into next season rather than this season, right? Like, you're not giving Kuminga that max. You're not giving Giddey that borderline max. That's kind of how I'm seeing that headline. And if that's the case, I'm happy as hell with that. Move off of these two really bad contracts that you have. Free up all that cap space. If you can walk into next offseason with 80+ million in cap space, again, socks only, naked backflips. Like, you're gonna see me start doing crazy shit. We've been asking for this for a year. Draft good or draft high. And if you can't draft high, draft good. And if you draft good, make sure not to overly spend on players who aren't going to impact the game long term for your organization. Wait that shit out a year. And if you can get expiring contracts through that, that's great. But I mean, this is kind of the second time we've heard the Nets not spending a lot of money in the free agency market and more so on the trade market. And that to me kind of indicates that Nick Claxton and Cam Johnson are guys that could be moved, because if you can get two players, but one of them's an expiring contract, the other player's young, that to me makes a lot of sense.
For sure. I can try this for free. See if I can get this New York Post Brian Lewis article.
Yeah, if you could pull that up live, that'd be perfect.
And paste it. I can copy it and paste it and email like all the text to you if you want me to. I can try.
I was gonna say either that or if you take screenshots of it and send it over, that's perfect. But yeah, I mean, if you can do that now and we can share that on here, we can kind of use that as our last talking point today.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can do this.
And by the way, I saw a couple of comments earlier asking for links and stuff. We were trying to move it quick with the draft. If you have any questions or comments or anything about the draft that you want answered, feel free to ask away. But we were trying to do the full 2 rounds.
No, it's making me pay $5. I'm not paying $5 for this.
You have to pay $5 for the free trial, or is it after the free trial?
Well, no, you get the free trial, and then I'm not.
You can cancel it right away. I'm pretty sure it doesn't charge the $5.
I'm gonna forget to cancel it. It's all right. It's all good.
See, that's what I do. I usually do a free subscription and I immediately cancel it. Like, I don't even think twice. That's become locked into my...
Let's save this for Thursday then. I'll do it. Let's because I got it's already I was trying to get this wrapped up by 1 and we did. I gotta run anyway. I was supposed to run 8 minutes ago. All right, let me save this, and I'll put my. I got it. I know what I can do. We'll save this. I'm gonna send you the link on Twitter. Remind me to pull this up.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a text at some point.
Yeah, on Thursday. All right. Well, guys, see you guys Thursday. Same time, 12:30 roughly. If anything changes, I'll let you know. I sent you that on Twitter. Remind me to pull that up on Thursday.
Awesome. Well done.
All right. April 22nd, 2025, from Texas to the world. Thank y'all, and God bless.
Later.